Very much, Laska here. Minister, I think it's very clear that we have a very significant deal here when it comes to the Windsor framework. And I say this cautiously, but I think there is cause for a lot of optimism at the moment as a result of that. And we want to really be able to capitalise on that optimism, and I think we want to try and really build on that momentum that we have seen from Northern Ireland, from the government here and from the British government. And what I mean by capitalising that momentum is being able to now really sell the opportunities and the benefits that the Windsor framework provides for Northern Ireland, and in particular the Northern Irish economy. I also think it's important to note the appointment of the Special Envoy Joe Kennedy, former Congressman Joe Kennedy, because he's a fairly big player in the United States. He's come into this with a serious job to do. He's come to this with a real emphasis on economic productivity and the economy of Northern Ireland. And I think former Congressman Kennedy is really going to be able to play an important role. And I really do hope that the institutions are re-established on the back of the Windsor framework as well. But when I was talking about the economy, the reason why it provides such an opportunity is because the framework guarantees Northern Ireland's place in the United Kingdom. It ensures that it's reaffirmed and that trade from Northern Ireland into the rest of the UK is seamless, but it also ensures that trade from Northern Ireland into the EU is seamless as well. And that provides, and that actually, when you think about it, puts Northern Ireland in such a unique economic advantage and economic position when you're trying to market it to multinational investments, to foreign multinational companies, when you're trying to market it as a place for job creation, when you're trying to market it as a place that here's a good place to come and do business in. So that is going to have a really important spin-off effect for that. And I think that's actually going to provide a real benefit for the border economy as well, for border towns, because there's going to be an enormous economic spillover along our border areas that's going to benefit the economies of both sides of the border as a result of Northern Ireland's unique economic position on the back of this Windsor framework. So that's why I think there's a really chance to be very optimistic about it. And I think there's going to be huge opportunities from a trading perspective, because we already see that cross-border trade is worth about 10 billion euros a year. And that can continue to grow alongside this as well. And like, even when we talk about it, we see so many businesses already cooperating with each other on both sides of the border, and about promoting the area as one singular unit and one singular economic unit. And I think this is going to be really useful, because when you go from Dublin to Belfast, that is the economic engine of the island of Ireland. The economic engine. It's where the vast majority of the population of this island lives. It's our two biggest cities on the island of Ireland. And like I said, I think that particular corridor can be a real economic driving point for this country, for this island of Ireland. And I think it's really aided by the Windsor framework. And what I would say, just to kind of conclude my remarks with regards to the DUP, and it feels like we've been around the merry-go-round a couple of times with this, but I really think we have to give them the space and the time to look at this as best as possible that they can, to give them as much time and space that they need to look at this framework, to make sure that they can get on board with it. And we have to give them the time and space to do that. But this is something to be very positive about. It's nice to have good news for once in a while, and I think this is something to be very optimistic about for Northern Ireland. And like I said, I think this provides a real economic opportunity for businesses in Northern Ireland, for job creation, and I think that economic opportunity will spill over both sides of the border, and in particular substantial border towns. So thanks very much, Laska Hirlock.